So it's this idea of like a societal peer pressure, right? The combined opinions and beliefs and expectations of all the people that you're living with, basically coming together to like influence your thoughts and emotions and actions. It's not really any conspiracy theory stuff. It's just a really normal phenomenon. Basically, it works just like normal peer pressure. So when you're hanging out with like your friends, you're going to be more inclined to act a certain way. You're going to be more inclined to think a certain way, and this is just a natural result of all the different viewpoints in the group wanting to express themselves, right? Like everybody that you're hanging out with has a certain way of seeing the world, and whether they are aware of it or not, they're fighting for that worldview, right? They're kind of projecting who they are and how they want things to be into that space that you're sharing. And the same thing happens on a very big scale with society in general. So when you take the combined beliefs and opinions of everybody, what you get is like this social force. It's like a very real pressure that you feel, and it influences all of your thoughts and opinions, even if you're not really hanging out with anybody. And it can be a little bit complex of how this gets transmitted, but here's basically how it works. Instead of a direct sort of influence like normal peer pressure, what you end up is absorbing it through information. So the media that you take in, social media, the books you read, the videos you watch, advertisements you see, all of these things are outlets of information, right? They're sources of information, and they are coming from people, right? All of these sources of information are coming from the desires and minds of normal people, and when you combine them together, what you end up is you get the ability to see the country's will, right? The entire nation's desires, the entire nation's worldview. It kind of gets combined and put into your mind. So this is a really new sort of phenomenon, especially because of globalization and internet, right? Only recently can we see how everybody else is living their lives. And what this ends up kind of creating is a constant desire to be like everybody else, right? I mean, if you think it's difficult to be an individual when like all four of your friends are like doing something, like try it when the entire country's doing something, right? Have you ever felt bad about like not dressing up for Halloween, or maybe you were like alone on Christmas? Well, just because everybody else is doing something doesn't necessarily mean that it should be an indicator of how like you should feel, right? It doesn't matter that everybody else is doing something for Thanksgiving. Maybe that average lifestyle that's portrayed isn't necessarily yours, and that's okay. But we forget that when the entire nation's lifestyle is being transmitted through social media and through these information outlets, it's difficult to ignore. So the concept that I really want to get across with this is, by managing the information that you take in, you are going to have much greater influence over your own life, okay? You've heard the phrase that you are what you eat. Well, that's pretty close. I prefer that you are what you absorb, and particularly the information you absorb is going to have a huge influence on you. It's not just about the food you eat or the people you hang out with, but the information you take in is going to have a huge influence about how you see things. So if you think about it, you are going to have a worldview, whether you like it or not. You're going to have beliefs and opinions about reality. But you're either going to have it conscious or unconscious. It's either going to be directed by you or the people around you. So what you want to do is manage the information that you let in so that you can have a consciously chosen worldview, right? Some examples of this are listening to audiobooks instead of whatever's on the radio, watching documentaries instead of whatever's on TV, spending less time on social media and spending more time with people that you really admire. Basically, taking in information that you want to align yourself with and getting rid of information that you don't want to align yourself with is just the basic idea. Just like how you want to eat more good food and less bad food, hang out with more good people, less bad people, and take in quality information, you know, like books written by people who are happy and successful rather than random posts of angry people on Facebook. So yeah, to summarize, just take a look at the information you take in, because it will have a strong influence over the way you see the world. There is a societal peer pressure controlling a lot of your thoughts, and if you don't take a good hard look at it, you just won't have any control, and you won't be able to live a life of your own design. All right, thank you.